So, hey, we're here, and thank you for joining us for another episode. Marconi, Nick, and Tiny.
I'm here.
The three of us.
I'm here.
We're your favorite throuple.
I want to be in the middle.
There has been, you may have noticed, if you've been listening to this from the beginning, and if you have, first of all, we'd like to apologize. Second of all, thank you. But we changed the name of the podcast, and previous episodes, I gave various examples of why. One of those is that it was almost impossible to ask connected devices and speakers to play the podcast. It didn't recognize the name, or it gave you 12 other different podcasts, or Oprah. I mean, I guess that's not the worst thing to be compared to Oprah. I mean, we get it. We're influencers just like her. We're on the same level.
Right.
But, let's let Oprah have her lane, So I wanted each of you to have input on a transitional name, something that would work for the podcast, that would signify that we are back together. But the reason I called it Final Podcast initially, that's the name we were using, is because I didn't think this was going to be anything. I just thought, they'll throw it up there. It's not a big deal. I don't care. I'm not going to put much effort into it. But then I knew as soon as I started doing it, I need a graphic. Oh, I need a social platforms. I need a Facebook group. I need a this and that. And then before I knew it, I was all in. So I was like, why did I call it Final Podcast? I didn't care. So suddenly I was living a lie because I obviously did care. So,
I knew it. I knew you did.
So, and then, maybe we'll do a couple episodes and that'll be it. I didn't expect to be on episode 6 with y'all.
Look at us.
Yeah, here we are.
Everything's shiny. I like it.
6 episodes deep.
I feel like one of those bands that has the final tour. Last time that The Cure are going out on tour. Yeah, you've said that for the last 12 years.
But we never got back together and said it was our final one or anything, until this. And this wasn't specifically meant to you guys. It was just for me. I was no longer going to host my own podcast. If you guys said, hey, it's over, but, we're going to start ours in a couple of months. If you want to come on once in a while, that's fine. Of course I would do that. But for me, I was like, this is it. What else am I going to do? Another podcast with someone else? I don't know. I've tried it before. It's fine. It's just not as much fun. And to me, the only thing I care about is having fun.
Yeah, the grass isn't greener.
It really isn't. And the other thing, I don't really like a podcast with the name podcast in the name.
Yeah.
So I didn't really think things through. And the only person I really like to hear the word podcast from is Nick, because of the way he says it. Nick, will you say podcast?
Podcast.
Yes.
Podcast.
Yes. He's the only person that should say it.
Podcast. It's podcast.
Okay, so Nick, I'll say back together and you say podcast. Okay.
All right, ready?
Back together.
Podcast.
Back together.
Podcast.
Beautiful. Perfect. So I sent a list of a bunch of names that I thought about, and here are some of the runner-up names that didn't quite make it. Final Notice, that was already taken. Final Note, Until Death. I got a lot of morbidity in these names, Until Death. I went from this is my final podcast to I'm going to do this until I die. I don't really know what the thinking was there, but whatever.
The podcast that killed me.
Right? One Last Thing, Off Position, Surprise Endings. One that I really liked that it totally isn't available is Words with Friends, but,
Yeah.
Most of the good ones are taken. Ticklish, Andy came up with Stop Snitching.
Yeah, stop it.
Slashing Prices. Another one, Access Denied. And then my favorite of Andy's was Cafeteria Lunch Tray.
There's so many options to put food on it.
Right, and we are the content, which would be the food, right?
Yeah.
I kind of I kind of like the idea of don't listen to this podcast.
No, but I mean that's kind of like the old switcheroo, right? What do they call it? Like the Jedi mind trick, the reverse psychology.
Yeah.
I totally understand. So, and then I wrote and I highlighted Back Together. And Andy almost immediately responded, I like this one. And then I said, right, same. Nick, what say you? And then I didn't hear from Nick. So I assumed he loved it.
Okay, yeah, because that's what I would think when somebody didn't answer. Hey,
Well, you don't, I mean, and Nick, but I was just hoping to hear from him so I could, because I knew all the things I needed to do to rebrand. But when I did get to talk to Nick, tell them what you said about rebranding, Nick.
well, it's, from a marketing point of view, and this comes from being the marketing guy for the CW, which I did for a long time. But from a marketing point of view, you should
Television, which is great. Who doesn't love TV shows?
But you should never rebrand. You should just retune, because rebranding really you have to reestablish yourselves. But when you only have 25,000 people and your mom listening, then I guess rebranding is okay.
And we're 6 episodes deep, but here are a few, because you mentioned TV shows. Here are a few TV shows that rebranded early on. Seinfeld originally was called The Seinfeld Chronicles, and then they just shortened it to Seinfeld.
That's weird.
Yeah. These Friends of Mine. Do you know what TV show that was, Nick?
Friends.
No, Ellen.
Oh.
Initially was called These Friends of Mine. I'm guessing because that show came out around the same time as Friends that they decided they had to change it.
Okay.
But see, another one, NBC's Saturday Night
Live.
That was the initial name for Saturday Night Live. Yeah. Good Morning, Miss Bliss.
Ooh.
Andy, do you know that one?
Malcolm in the Middle.
Saved by the Bell.
Oh, wow.
What?
Saved by the Bell was initially Good Morning, Miss Bliss. So there are some successful entities. I'm talking TV shows. Obviously, this is a podcast. But there are a few that have had to rebrand at some point. And here's another one. It's kind of a dumb show, but do you remember that show called Valerie's Family?
Yeah,
Or Valerie,
I know that one because I had a crush on her.
And then she got fired from the show, and then they changed it to the Hogan Family after that. It's kind of like Roseanne.
Yeah.
The Connors are doing really well. But I think we're new enough that it doesn't really matter. And Back Together just makes sense, especially to us. But if somebody that doesn't know us sees Back Together, it can mean anything. So it's kind of a good term, and it's a positive term. And I feel like this is a positive podcast because we come in here to have fun, right?
Do you know how many people write me emails and call me Nike?
Maybe it's time to rebrand.
Yeah.
Maybe you are Nike.
Yeah.
Or maybe
I think it's
maybe
taken, though.
add an EL to the end of your name.
Nickel.
You know what's kind of interesting about this whole rebranding thing is, so I have a super busy week of TV, and I'm getting up at 3:00 in the morning to do the East Coast stations and going until like 10 a.m. and I'm really exhausted all day. So I didn't really have.
It sounds like you're living the dream.
Yeah, really. Living no time to dream. Dreaming is not allowed. No sleep is allowed. You can sleep when you're dead, as I believe you said to me one time. Anyway, there's...
I said that because Jay-Z said that, but I don't believe that anymore. I have to take a nap pretty soon.
Now you get older, right? So it's kind of interesting. So I was super, super busy, and this email came through as... so I saw an email come through, something about the podcast name. And then by the time I got done with everything, like 2 days later, and I went back to my email, the name, there was like 1,000 suggestions, a big debate, and the name was changed. I went, well, I guess I missed that conversation. It's like, hey, why are you at work today? Your family moved.
But now, Nick, I don't know if you have an Amazon Echo device near your microphone right now that you could hold up to the mic.
It's near Tiny.
And could you do the honors?
Alexa, play Back Together from Apple Podcasts.
Playing Back Together from Apple Podcasts. Playing the latest episode.
Marconi.
You know, the TikTok stance where they walk into the bathroom and they prop their foot up on the counter and show you Old Glory?
Nick.
I like big butts and I cannot lie. Tiny ate my ice cream pie. Shut up or stick my finger in your eye.
Tiny.
I'm over here using a ball sack trimmer on my head. You got me all sorts of up.
Marconi, Nick, and Tiny. Back Together.
New name, same great taste. We did it!
Guys, we did it!
So, yeah, now we're searchable on connected devices and speakers. And for all the places, you can find us at backtogetherpod.com. I don't know. Are you guys doing okay in quarantine? Andy, going to work every day is probably weird for you because you're in an isolated office situation where people come in, but they don't come in like they normally would, right?
Yeah, we've just recently started seeing actual live patients again. Everything's been on the phone or on the computer.
Yeah, so you were seeing people like on Zoom calls and stuff like that?
Yeah, there's like a medical version of Zoom. It's kind of hard because we'd have to see patients who they'd have like a rash. So we'd have to have like, this one guy had to pull down his shorts and put his ass right up to the camera so we could see underneath the cheek and see where the rash was. It was one of my finer moments in medicine.
Wait.
Sir, can you lift up your cheek a little more? I can't see it.
Yeah, like I was going to ask, do people do like the TikTok stance where they walk into the bathroom and they prop their foot up on the counter and show you Old Glory?
Yeah. That's exactly how they do it. Yeah. Yeah. That's the old person renegade dance. Let me spread my ass cheek so you can see it.
Oh my God.
Renegade.
Oh my God. This, I mean, talk about an OnlyFans account that I would subscribe to. And what's been the most awkward situation that you can think of during the Zoom or whatever the call is?
Probably verifying a hemorrhoid on the video chat because he had to get his butthole like a half a centimeter away from the camera. I was amazed with his accuracy. I'm like, if you're an old dude, you know exactly where to put your butthole on the camera, you freak.
Yeah.
This isn't his first rodeo.
Yeah, no, I could tell Billy has done this before.
Billy's been he's been on Grindr or something with somebody and showing it.
Why does he have to be gay?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just.
He could have been showing ladies his butthole.
Why does he have to be straight?
Why does he have to be white? Why does he have to have a hemorrhoid?
The answer is coming up tonight on your late local news. We were talking about this a few weeks ago, and Nick is you're not doing your own hair at home. You're on TV and stuff, right, Nick?
I have my hair cut, and the way I have my hair styled is a little complicated, but I can actually go for long periods without having it cut.
Yeah, and so
I get it. I've had it done once a month.
But and Andy, I know you've always kind of done your own hair, right? You've always just had a shave. Like I remember back in the day when your dad would sit you on a chair in the backyard and take the clippers, and you'd take off your overalls, and he would just shave up the back of the hot dogs on your neck, right?
Yeah, that was it. That's exactly it.
And so you learned all your techniques from your father.
Yeah, I've been running fades since like '83. You know what I'm saying?
and to be on your hair is easy to cut because you just take I don't know if you even use a guard. You just shave it down, right?
Yeah, just as close to the skin as possible. I would do a straight razor, but there's too many
crevices.
Yeah, there's way too much going on.
Wait, there's crevasse number one. They need to make a shaver for that. Like, could you use one of those ball bag shavers?
What? The ball bag?
No,
What are you insinuating, sir?
No.
That I put my head in a bag full of razor blades and hope for the best?
I hope you wouldn't put your balls in a bag full of razor blades and hope for the best either.
I wouldn't put my testicles in a bag full of blades, let alone my pretty head.
No, it's like the manscaper, whatever that thing is. They have the manscaper that it goes through the crevasses of your genitale.
Oh yeah, the ones that don't cut.
Yeah, you could just use that for the back, the various folds that and the crevasses, and then then you could get it down shorter if you wanted to.
I can't right now with what you're talking about. I'm over here using a ball sack trimmer on my head. You got me all sorts of up. Talking about using manscaper on the back of your head. I just had that on my junk 2 minutes ago.
Well, you'd have a different one for the junk. You'd have them labeled.
I'd want to use Braille too, just in case I got super or something. I'd want to make sure. Oh, the 3 dots. This is for my balls.
No, the 2 dots would be the balls. The 3 dots would be the.
That's awfully presumptuous of you.
Well, I'm just. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I haven't seen.
I might have.
You have a medical miracle.
Girls get butt implants.
You have a medical miracle
Yeah, I
down
may
there.
have a nut implant.
Oh my god! And the reason I brought this all up wasn't to talk about using a ball bag shaver on the back of your head, but I did my hair, and I've never done like a fade. I always just do like a number 3 on the sides, and then I just trim the top a little bit. I was like trying to fade this time. It just didn't work out the way I had hoped, and it just started looking weird. So I just went down to like a no guard. So it's real close on the sides, and the top is just, normal, like it always is. But my haircut, I feel like it sort of looks like Pepper from the second or third season of American Horror Story. You know, the pinhead?
Yeah.
Or maybe a little like, my head could best be described right now as looking a little like Grandpa Simpson.
Did he use the head shaver or the ball bag shaver?
If you're on any social media now, instead of posting real pictures, a lot of people will do these bitmojis. So I thought, well, I'll make these animated heads for some of our stuff for the podcast. And so, yes, I created
Yeah, you did.
Marconi, Nik, and Tiny bitmojis.
They look so good, though.
But, okay, so here's the thing. Mine looks, I don't even know what's going on there. But I made Tiny's.
It made me look like a lighter skinned Drake.
It really did.
I was happy about it.
It really did. It does.
Yeah.
And
I'm good with it.
I'm glad you felt that way, because my other thought was, is this DJ Khaled? What have I done?
We the best.
Another one. But here,
Another one.
so Andy's looks pretty good. I think it looks at least cool, and it represents you. Mine, I don't know. But Nick's, now, maybe it's just me, but Nick's looks as if we had a professional animator create a cartoon version of Nick.
Yeah, no, it looks fantastic.
I mean,
I think it does look very much like me, although I do look like I'm kind of bored.
well, no, some of those situations, there's different looks, Nick. Believe me, it's Bitmoji. So there's 100 different things, and I've captured them all. The particular one that I published that's out right now is as you in between two laughing hyenas, and the character itself looks like you, right?
Yes, no, I think it definitely looks very much like me.
You even managed to capture like a little bit of his soul. A little bit,
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Like if you gave this to one of your TV stations, they'd be like, damn, how? Like I could see this animated cartoon Nick walking across the screen on a TV show to promote what's coming up next. You know what I'm saying?
Tonight at 5 on BBC Radio 4.
Yes. But it would be just like this little animated Nick. Or, like in I don't know if you guys get the Empire carpet commercials, the 1-800-588-2300 Empire today.
Empire.
And the little guy, the guy that died years ago, they still have the animated thing that walks across pushing the carpet. That's what I would see Nick doing, just rolling out the red carpet or something. But I kind of,
Interesting.
yeah. But when I see that, I'm like, I want to make this merch. I want to make this like a tangible, like a doll that you could set on your your desk or something. I want a Nick doll.
Oh, that'd be so fun. I'd put you in so many stupid ass poses.
Opposable,
Things
yeah.
that you'd never see me do in real life.
Yeah.
Compromising positions.
Kung Fu grip.
Put in holes where I shouldn't be put.
Yeah, Nick, we'd take you traveling.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'd be like the gnome. I'd be like the gnome with Travelocity gnome, where people take traveling with them.
Yeah, Nick, I'd have you scaling down girls' boobs.
What? Andy is a hip hop head. Your boy, Hitachi 69, It's not Hitachi. That's the vibrator, right? I'm thinking.
I looked over and Nick in his search engine has Hitachi 69 instead of Takashi 69.
That's what he put in there.
That was the funniest shit I've ever seen.
I'm trying to work out what you were meaning because that was in the script for today's show. So I'm like Googling it and thinking, what is he going on about? It's like some high-end compressor.
I wrote Hitachi 69. I meant Takashi 69. A lot of people don't like him. He's very controversial because he got off because he snitched on a bunch of people, and he's always on his. And he looks like he's a best describe him the way you would.
Clown.
Yeah, like a clown, right? But do you ironically like his music, or do you actually like his music?
Well, see, here's the problem. He has good, like, whoever his producer is and whoever he buys the beats from, he raps on really good hard beats, and I like the production of the music, but his rhymes are he's just trash as a rapper. Like, he sucks so bad. Like, it's like your little cousin who picked up the mic and just rattled off some Cat in the Hat books. I mean, I swear,
Right.
I gotta salute to him a little bit. I mean, he's broken records since he came out. I mean, he's got more now, but last time I checked, he had his new song Gooba had 110 million views in 3 days. Yeah,
Gooba, and it's
Gooba.
It's exactly how you described it. Like, he has good beats, but his rhymes are like fairy tales or something.
Oh, they're trash. They're absolutely horrible. Horrible.
And he looks like a clown doll or something. He has, like, every tooth is a different color. His hair is all different braids.
Yeah.
And he's ridiculous. But his arrogance is hilarious.
He's only 24 and he tried to donate to No Kid Goes Hungry $200,000 and they wouldn't take his money.
Yeah, the starving kids.
No.
What?
The starving kids have more of a street code than he does. They're like, no, we don't need your $200,000. We're good.
Wow. I don't know any charity that turns down money. That's crazy.
Yeah, they said absolutely not. Thank you, but no thank you.
Wow.
It's strange. He's all about rainbow colors. Like, his teeth and his hair are rainbow colors. He wears rainbow color clothes.
Well, that's one of his biggest defenses when he's talking crap to everyone. Like, one of his biggest things is, so you're going to let a little Mexican kid with rainbow hair get you this mad, you know? Like, he's an impressive troll. He's a horrible rapper, but an impressive get under your skin troll.
He's always posting him with stacks of money, and there's no evidence that there's more money. It's just maybe the same money over and over and over, and they just reorganize it and then throw it up again. Who knows? But a lot of people like to show off like that. But in my experience, anybody who has to show you how much they make usually doesn't know what they're doing. Like, you don't really see, you don't really see Dr. Dre out there throwing money in the air.
No, you would never see that. He's got more style. He's got more swag with it.
Yeah, like Jay-Z's not about that.
There's some very, very disturbing pictures of him in concert just in his underwear.
Oh, yeah, for sure, of course.
There's some pictures of him before he had all the tattoos down to his face, and he was a nice kid.
Daniel Martinez.
Daniel Martinez is his real name. Hitachi 69 professionally.
Yeah. Hitachi 69.
Marconi, Nick, and Tiny are back together. Not as a throuple or anything. For a podcast. Jeez.
I have a game that I thought might be fun in honor of the new name of our podcast. Maybe you guys can do this as a competition, and I'll just give a category, and then you can name as many in that category as you can think of off the top of your head. No pressure. Welcome to Back Together. The category is Back Together. And now, name as many movies as you can name. You can take turns if you want. That have back in the title.
Back to the Future.
Back. Back.
Oh, that's it. Thanks very much for playing.
Look at my back. Look who's talking back.
No. No.
Star Wars?
Yeah. Dr. Doolittle.
Star Wars?
Every Tyler Perry movie.
A Star Wars, a particular Star Wars movie with the word back in it? A particular Jay and Silent Bob movie with the word
Jay and
back in
Silent
it?
Bob Strikes Back.
Yes.
It's so hard work with you. Way back, the way back.
A particular Star Wars movie? The Empire?
The Empire gets back into it.
Yeah,
The what?
The Empire gets back into it.
I believe it's The Empire Strikes Back, but it's a movie with Bruce Willis, and I do believe Robert De Niro, and it has to do with fire.
Fireback.
Backdraft. Come on, dude.
That's a good one.
Nick, if you knew it, you're supposed to say it.
I did. Oh, I was trying to help Tiny get one right because so far he's got 0.
But you didn't. He said Empire gets back into it.
Yeah, that makes so much sense.
There's one with a certain comedian named Rodney Dangerfield, where he goes.
Back to
He goes to a learning.
Back to school, back to college, back to school with where he plays the lemon guy and he does the air farts before he dives in the pool.
What was the name of the movie?
Back to lemon, back to lemon, back to college, back to school. It's called Back to School.
Back to School, yes.
Yeah.
Holy.
I found it.
Back Together. Okay, now please name the new category in our Back Together game is songs.
That song from Aaliyah, back, forth and forth. That's a good one.
I'll say the name of a band, and maybe you can tell me the name of their back song, all right? Or an artist. Taylor Swift.
On my back.
We are never, ever, ever
getting back together.
AC/DC.
Back in Black.
Back in Black.
Backstreet Boys.
We're back. All right.
Elton John.
Nick, you better know this.
I can't think of it. Elton John.
Elton John. It was just on a remade TikTok that I did of Hitachi 6ix9ine. I used the song. I tagged you. I believe I tagged you in it. I had Andy look at it last week when we were recording this podcast.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Elton John song with the word back in it. And I know you're Googling it right now and you're cheating.
No, we're not. Totally.
Nick, who is back? In this particular Elton John song, who is back?
Oh, the boy.
Boy?
Boy is back?
Elton John's big hit song, The Boy is Back.
No, he has a line, the boy is back.
I thought you were an Elton John fan.
I am. That's why I'm drawing the line.
You don't know The Bitch is Back?
Oh, the bitch is back.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Holy shit. Okay. I think Nick's just making it up. He's like, I'm English, so of course I'm an Elton John fan. I'm not so sure anymore. All right, here's another one. Cher.
Back in time, if I could turn back time, Danny, I would have drowned in real.
I don't know where.
And this is for Nick because I know he loves them and he cannot lie. Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Big butts. What?
Can you do a little bit of the song? You didn't say the name of the song. You did say Big Butts. We know that's what you love. But what's the actual name of the song?
Baby got back.
And do you know any of the lyrics to the song?
I like big butts and I cannot lie. Tiny ate my ice cream pie. Shut up or stick my finger in your eye.
I think that's a good place to stop on today's episode. Thank you for listening. Follow us on all social media. If you haven't already, we're at Back Together Pod. Don't forget our Facebook group because everything we talk about here on the episode usually ends up on there way before we ever talk about it on a podcast. And that is also under the title Back Together.
Marconi, Nick, and Tiny. Back Together. Find full episodes everywhere you get your podcasts at backtogetherpod.com.